kinds of presses are there?
Well, all presses are different in the respect that they line up differently. You may.
Coach, I heard Pat Frost interviewed on Mutual the other day. He said most of the schools in the conference are trying to upgrade their programs to level of Arkansas or Texas. I was wondering why Baylor hasn't done that.
Well,
more questions for Baylor University basketball coach Jim Heller, whose Bears play the University of Houston tomorrow night at the Heart of Texas Coliseum in just 1 minute.
Do you have a Visa or MasterCharge card? Would you like one? Now you can get a MasterCharge or Visa from the only bank in Waco that issues both cards, the American Bank of Waco. Your application for Visa or MasterCharge will be processed right here in Waco. And at American Bank, there is no charge for either MasterCharge or Visa. So call right now, 772-8472. That's 772-BISA. The American Bank of Waco for either MasterCharge or Visa. Member FDIC.
For Texas and Texas Electric Bus Line, all they have to offer is service. And they do their best to assure your satisfaction. Ride with friendly service, with direct or connecting service to all points in the country. And if you feel you didn't get the right service, call Claude Kincannon Jr. at 754-2395. To learn more about their many services, stop by the station at 1002 Austin. Central Texas and Texas Electric Bus Line, your hometown bus line.
Coach, I'd like to ask you something about the Texas Tech game. It seemed to me that maybe a timeout would have been appropriate in the first half when they whittled down our 11-point lead. Turnovers were occurring for our team, and they seemed to have the momentum going. Do you think that a timeout now, as an afterthought, would have been appropriate, and maybe some late in the game might have been appropriate when we could have maybe cut down the lead a little more?
Well, I think if you would look back, you would see that we used all 5 of our allotted timeouts in that game. And, you know, in a game like that where we were changing our strategy consistently throughout the contest, Texas Tech was changing every time there was a timeout. Each team changed something. And I used 2 timeouts the first half and saved 3 for the second half. And I didn't feel like there was any big need to take a timeout right there before the half was over with about a minute to go. We missed a couple of real easy shots that we normally should have hit, and they came down and scored, and that changed the point total right there, say 4 to 6 points. But I don't normally take a timeout unless I see something that's really affecting us. For example, when we had those 2 turnovers before the half, it wasn't because we were in the wrong place or because we weren't attacking their press correctly. We just made a bad pass. And that was my thinking on the situation at the time, and it's still the way I would do it.
Jim, do you suppose everybody knows how many timeouts a team gets in a half in a ball game?
Well, you just get 5 for the ball game, and you can use them all in the first 10 minutes if you want to, but most everyone saves as many as they can for near the end of the game when you really do have to maybe have some strategy or to rest your players. So that is my thinking on the situation.
And what's the penalty if you call an additional timeout beyond your allotment?
Well, it's an automatic technical foul, and then the other team gets the ball besides that.
1 shot and the ball.
Right.
Okay, another question for Coach Haller.
On the subject of Jimmy Carter, was he suspended from school or just from the basketball team? And do you anticipate him returning to school into the basketball team next year?
Well, Jimmy will very definitely return to the team next year. He has stated his desire to do so. To tell you the facts just as straight as they are, Jimmy was removed from athletic scholarship, and he will return next year, as I have stated. Now, I'd like to make this very clear that Baylor University has become the school it is today because of the high standards which are upheld, and I'm going to be the very first to say and make my feelings very well known on this, that I do not think athletes should be treated any differently in regards to discipline or things of this nature than the average student at Baylor is. I think every youngster that comes to join our athletic program is very fortunate that they have the God-given body and ability to get an athletic scholarship, to have their college career paid for. And I think that it's foolish when a youngster makes a mistake and is not able to capitalize on the wonderful ability that he has. And I feel sorry for Jimmy because it was totally out of character for him to do what he did. He can't explain why he did it. It was just a foolish, impulsive move that he made, and I wished he hadn't done it. He wishes he hadn't done it. But I'll just say that we're going to follow the normal standards set by Baylor, and I just don't think there should be any distinction made between a student athlete or a regular student.
Okay, another question for Coach Howard.
Coach Howard, my question is, in your opinion, what is the best game the Bears have played so far this season? Thank you.
Oh, that right now it would be hard for me to say what the very best game would be. I think UT El Paso was a good game for us. I think the last game in the Las Vegas tournament where we shot almost 70% for the game was a good one. I thought we played well the other night at Texas Tech. But it would be hard for me to single out any one contest. But I can see where our team is improving in certain areas every game. We're playing much more aggressively and more physical than we've ever played in the earlier portion of the season right now, and that has helped us. I never dreamed, as I mentioned a while ago, that we would out-rebound Texas Tech by 16, and I think our best game is yet to come, and I'm looking forward to several of them.
Remind our listeners now that we have about another 7 or 8 minutes on the Ask Jim Heller program.